Well, hello and welcome to Seoul, South Korea. All the palace gates have 3 arches, and the middle arch is exclusively for the king. And this is why I say I didn't have the best food experience in Korea. She recommended to me the jujube tea, and I also got a side of honey cakes. New series time. 1, 2, 3. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Mantar. Thank you all so much for coming back. If it's your first time, welcome to the show. And today, my friends, we are starting a really fun journey, a new international series that I filmed in the Republic of Korea. Now, for those of you following along at home, the Republic of Korea is the official name of South Korea. No, I did not go to North Korea. I got close though, but I did not go to North Korea. As tempting as it was, I do enjoy my freedom and not communism. And I had a really interesting experience in South Korea. There were some things that I absolutely loved. There were some gorgeous sights. There were some things that took a little bit of getting used to be honest with you. And there were some things that I downright did not like about that country. But we will get into all of it in this entire series. But just before we get started, your quick friendly reminder, if you like this content, go ahead and hit that little subscribe button. It is of no cost to you, but it is tremendously helpful to me. Also, leave a like, leave a comment, hit that little notification bell so you do not miss future Mantar videos. I know you don't want to miss future Mantar videos. I have 4 more videos after this one coming up of Korea. You don't want to miss those. It was a fascinating country. Also, if you're new to this channel, I have a recent trip to Spain that I just took. That's a 4-part series on this channel now available. I also have a video from Hungary. I have a video from Mystic, Connecticut. I have a video from the Jersey Shore. I have a video from Montreal. I have all kinds of things on the channel. So do go ahead if you like this and check out all my other videos. I got all kinds of travel stuff. So for this video, I am documenting my first city in Korea that I went to, which was Seoul, the capital city. And it was a lot. And in a lot of ways, I think I was pretty unprepared for it. But let's get right into it. So here is my experience in the city of Seoul, in South Korea, in October of 2024, on the latest episode of Mantar Global, starting right now. Okay, so welcome my friends to the 13-hour and 20-minute flight between Los Angeles and Seoul, South Korea. Yes, I live in New York City, but I was in Los Angeles to see some friends, and then I flew over to Korea. So it was a 13-hour flight over the international date line, which meant that I arrived a day after I left. So I was all kinds of messed up and jet lagged. But at any rate, eventually we arrived, and I was sort of advised through the internet that it was better to take the train from Incheon Airport than it would have been to take a taxi. So that's what I did, and you're not gonna get that in this video because I will have a future video reviewing all of Korea's trains that I took, and that is coming out very soon. So for now, let's skip the train ride from Incheon Airport to Seoul City Center and land at our first stop, which is Seoul Station, to take the subway system to my hotel. Well, hello and welcome to Seoul, South Korea. We just arrived in Incheon Airport a little while ago, and we took the Airport Express train from Incheon Airport to Seoul Station. The very, very first thing we're doing in this video is taking the subway, just starting off right, and we are going to my hotel for the evening. So the first thing I did, and I actually did this at Incheon Airport, was to get a T-Money card. Now, a T-Money card is basically your Metro card when you're in Korea, but it works in all the towns and all the cities, on the buses, on the subways. I hear you can even use it in the taxis, although I heard that later and I never tried that. But yes, you can get a T-Money card at most convenience stores, and I did get one at the airport, and then I had to go to a convenience store called Nice to See You, which was also in the airport. It was a cute name. Nice to, the letter C, the letter U. I had to do that to actually load up the card with funds. So now with my T-Money card in hand, I took the rather long walk from Seoul's main train terminal to the subway station part, but I made it. I paid my fare, and we were down in the subway system. And the first thing that I noticed was that all the platforms had glass doors that would be shut when there was no train in the station. So it was not sort of an open platform with the tracks right there. You had to stand behind the glass doors, and those doors would open when the train pulled into the station, aligned with the train doors. So my train arrived, I boarded, and I did notice that it was a relatively quiet and clean subway system with lots of room in the train cars, and it looked like mostly open gangways between the subway cars, although I would find out later that that's not necessarily true on all trains. Now, I did say mostly clean, but I was told ahead of time that Seoul has like such a clean subway system. It's like Japan. Well, I've never been to Japan, but although I did notice that Seoul's subway system was cleaner than, say, New York's subway system, it was not entirely clean, and there was some dirt and grime in the subways. So let's all take it down a notch. It is not the cleanest subway I've ever been on. I've been on cleaner trains in Europe. But at any rate, pretty soon thereafter, I was off the train and looking for my subway exit, which that's a whole thing. There are the subway exits in Seoul actually, and in Busan where I went after Seoul, are very, very confusing. There's a lot of them and I didn't quite know where to go. Shout out to this nice gentleman who came and tried to help me out, but he actually couldn't figure out where I was going, but he was very, very sweet about it. But anyway, I definitely took the very wrong exit. So I ended up having to walk about 4 blocks to my hotel, but that was fine because I was on the streets of Seoul. I was very tired and very jet lagged, but at the very least, I was getting to see a little bit of the street scene before I went to my hotel and collapsed to bed. And I was staying at the 4 Points by Sheraton Joseon in Myeongdong. There are 2 4 Points by Sheratons in Seoul. There's one by Seoul Station, which actually would have been easier when I was coming in by train. But I was staying in the one in Myeongdong because I had been told that Myeongdong was a livelier neighborhood. So it was a very nice hotel, no complaints there. Okay, I've arrived, I've showered. I feel a little bit more like a human being, but a little bit more like a human being who has not slept in almost 24 hours. So we're gonna fix that. I'm gonna go to bed, and tomorrow we're gonna get underway here in Seoul. Can't wait. See you then. Okay, good morning, Seoul. I slept great, and I'm hopefully going to be acclimated to the 13-hour time difference from New York City. It is morning out my window. Good morning. You can see that view is beautiful, and I am ready to get my first daytime glimpses of the city. So first stop today, we're actually going to get a guided tour of a few of Seoul's best sites. So I mostly did do hotel breakfast because there was so much going on. I didn't really want to bother myself finding a restaurant for breakfast in the mornings when I first woke up. So mostly I did hotel breakfast, and the one at the 4 Points was very good. It was sort of like a Korean-American fusion. It is a Marriott property, so they do get a lot of Americans. So you did have eggs and bacon, but you also had things like beef bulgogi, which is a very Korean dish, as well as things like kimchi and salted octopus, which are very Korean type things. I didn't know how I'd feel about that for breakfast, but all the things were pretty good, you know, especially considering it was a hotel breakfast. And then it was time to meet my guide for day 1. And I was lucky enough to be taken around Seoul on my first day by a local guide named Paul. I highly, highly recommend Paul. He is a really, really good tour guide in Seoul. He gives you a lot of context for everything that you're seeing. So if you're going to Seoul and you need a guide, I will leave Paul's link down below. It is gowithguide.com. Look for tour guides in Seoul and get Paul, but I will give you his direct link. Definitely, if you're going to Seoul, hit up Paul. He will give you a great tour of the city. He's very affordable. But for now, here we go. Day 1. So good morning, everybody, and welcome to Seoul. This is my first day. We are on our way right now to the Gyeongbokgung Palace. That is our first stop on the tour today, and really looking forward to it. So some tour guides in different countries will have private cars that they'll shuttle you around. I will actually be with a guide in a future video that did take me around in a private car. But for now, Paul's tour takes subways and buses, which I actually really liked, especially in a city like Seoul. You really got to be immersed in the culture while not being stressed about, finding your stop or anything like that because you're with a knowledgeable guide. So we went down into the subway with the Team Money card and headed on our way to Gyeongbokgung Palace, which would be our first stop. And I did read before going to Seoul that these seats are absolutely reserved for pregnant women. Even if there is not a pregnant woman on the train, you are not supposed to sit there. It's not like, let's say, in cities like New York where you can sit in the priority seating, you just have to get up if someone comes on. In Korea, the culture is if the seat's reserved for pregnant women or the seats that are reserved for the elderly as well, you just don't sit there, even if there's nobody on the train. So hence the empty seat, and I certainly didn't sit there. And before you know it, we were pulling up to Gyeongbokgung Station and exiting the train.
So this is the no aging gate behind me. I was just told the no aging gate. So we're gonna walk under the no aging gate and hope for no aging.
And immediately you could see the palace right in front of you with its large looming gates made out of wood, pretty much red and green color schemes with the sloped roof, and we made our way inside.
And welcome to Gyeongbokgung Palace. This is the main gate, and the lettering behind me, it was explained to me, is Hwanghamun, which means the king's light spreading to all countries and all people. Also, it was explained to me that that's the main gate behind me, that all the palace gates have 3 arches, and the middle arch is exclusively for the king and for the royal family and special ceremonies. So I thought that was cool.
So of course, having a guide with me was so useful to learn about historical facts. For example, what I just shared with you about the center arch being reserved for the king. Paul was so knowledgeable and was giving me a lot of context about the palace, which was built for the Joseon dynasty. And the Joseon dynasty in Korea practiced Confucianism, whereas before Buddhism had been the practices for the dynasties, Confucianism was the practice for the Joseon dynasty, which built Gyeongbokgung Palace and the other palaces in Seoul. Because fun fact, Seoul was the capital of Korea for the first time in the Joseon dynasty. So it was super, super helpful to have Paul around because he knew so much about Confucianism and the theory behind it and all of that. If you book Paul, he will talk your head off about Confucianism, but it is so worth it because you get so much context into the palaces and pretty much all the sites you're gonna see if they're historical sites. And this little stone animal is called Hachi, which was a big mythical creature, particularly in the Joseon period. And it was supposed to guard the palaces with its ability to tell if you were of good mind or of evil mind. And it was supposed to obviously guard against the people of evil mind from entering the palace. So there was something very grand about Gyeongbokgung Palace, but at the same time, something very simple about it. And Paul was explaining to me that Confucian principles emphasized simple but elegant, and that was present throughout the palace. That's sort of one of the pillars of Confucian theory, and you can look up the others. He explained them all to me, and it's very interesting. But yes, there was a simplicity but an elegance about the palace that was really, really interesting. And every gate in the palace had 3 Chinese characters that would indicate some kind of special meaning for that particular gate. Fun fact, I learned that the Korean alphabet, the current Korean alphabet, was actually not invented until the 1400s, which was already during the time of the Joseon dynasty. So because these palaces predate the Korean alphabet, all the written language is in Chinese. Also, one of the interesting pieces of information I learned was that during the Joseon dynasty and in the principles of Confucian theory, men and women are not supposed to be in the same room during the day. They can, sleep together at night for that kind of business. But during the day, they were not supposed to be in the same room together. So both palaces I went to, and I went to another one later on, had separate quarters for men and for women. So interesting stuff. I believe this was the Queen's Royal Garden. I don't know, it's kind of a sad little garden, to be honest with you. But this beautiful pond area over here was so pretty. And then just like that, it was time for our next stop.
So now we're on our way to Bukchon Hanok village, which is just a short walk away from Gyeongbokgung Palace. And it was just explained to me by my lovely guide, Paul.
Yeah, Bukchon is traditional residence for the high-ranking government officials because of its short distance to the palace, the Gyeongbokgung Palace. At the times, there is no bicycle, no car, so people have to walk to the office. So the short distance of Bukchon was the best location for the residential place for the government office. Yeah.
You heard it here first, guys.
So we were walking on our way to Bukchon Hanok village through a very nice neighborhood, a very kind of nice and serene neighborhood. I was like, oh, this must be where the people with some money live. And Bukchon Hanok village is basically a cluster of traditional Hanok houses, which are the traditional Korean houses. A lot of them to this day are private residences, so we had to be kind of quiet and respectful on the street because these are people's houses. But it is a pretty big tourist destination because of the cluster of traditional houses. It was really cool. So from Bukchon Hanok village, we got ourselves on a bus. Actually, it was 2 buses we transferred. And I have to say that this was nice because I generally, if I'm by myself, I probably would not try the bus system in a foreign country just because I don't speak the language, and it's not as obvious as a subway system where I'm supposed to get off. It might just be a random street corner. I don't know the stop, blah, blah, blah. So that makes me nervous. But with Paul, more than happy to take the bus. And the buses were very clean and very quiet. Very, very nice. One thing to note on the buses and on the trains, you do have to tap your T-Money card on the way in and on the way out. I'm assuming that's because they have some kind of zoned fare system. And so off the bus, we found ourselves at Kwangjong Market, which is the largest market in Seoul. It is a pretty big tourist destination, but it's also used by the locals. And the market sold all kinds of things from fresh fish to meats to sweets. They even sold clothes in a certain part of the market, so it wasn't just food. And because I was with Paul, the overwhelming nature of the market didn't really affect me because he took me to his favorite spot to get a little traditional Korean lunch of mung bean pancakes, tteokbokki, and gimbap. So the mung bean pancakes are basically split mung beans that are put into a pancake form and fried. The tteokbokki is rice cakes with a red chili sauce on it. And gimbap is basically like sushi. It's like a seaweed wrap with rice. And sometimes it has meat in it, but we got a vegetarian one. What I didn't realize is that this entire lunch was vegetarian, and I'm very used to eating meat pretty much every meal of the day. So if you do want meat at your lunch, and you're with Paul, who's a great guide, just ask him, you want something with meat in it, he'll accommodate you. But I didn't realize, so I was like, oh crap, all of this is vegetarian. So I was pretty hungry again pretty soon, but that was fine. The food was very, very good. I have to say the tteokbokki, because of the red chili sauce, I really don't like spicy food. And that was gonna be kind of a issue with the food in Korea my entire time there, was that I had a 50-50 shot of anything I ordered being like too spicy for me. So I did try it because I felt like I had to try it, and it was good. I could tell it was good, but the spice is too much for me. So I stuck with the kimbap and the mung bean pancakes. And the meal came with this little cup of soy sauce and onion that you could dip the foods in, like the pancake or the gimbap. It was very, very good and complimentary. And here's Paul demonstrating how exactly to incorporate the onion and the soy sauce into your meal. One more thing before we left Kwangjong, hot dog. Not hot dog, hot dog, which is basically a fried dough or a fried pancake with honey or brown sugar or something inside. It's a little dessert thing. It was really, really good. Hot dog. Must try if you like sweets. And then it was back on the subway for our next destination, and Paul pointed out something really interesting. Watch how they signify the train coming. Isn't that so cute? There's always like some kind of different music, but it's like adorable. It's like, oh, they have the little like hype up music for the train coming. So anyway, a quick train ride and then another bus that took us up Namsam Mountain because we were going to end Seoul Tower, which is the big observatory at the top of Namsam Mountain. And so with my ticket bought, I went into the lobby to take the elevator up to the observatory. Look at this little display on the screens that they give you on the elevator. It's so fun. And to the top of the observatory to take in the entirety of the Seoul Metro area from up on high. What a beautiful view. And then back on the bus and back on the train to our next destination, Hongdae Street, which is the young, hip area. And you could see it right away. It was kind of like the trendy stuff. And there was some shopping and some restaurants and some fun things to do. There was even along the street, there were these little designated performance spaces for street performers, which I thought was really cool. And Paul told me that like, if this was like a Friday or Saturday night, like those spaces are super coveted and like, I don't know if they're reserved in advance, but there's like a hierarchy of who can perform there. Very, very cool. So I was not trying to buy clothes or anything. So we just kind of walked around Hongdae. And here in this clip, I am thanking Paul and reminding him to let my viewers to know where to go. And of course, I'm using these new mics when I go out into the field, and this is a new thing for this channel. And of course, so I had to have tech issues on my first day of it. So there was no audio. It did not pick up audio. The mic wasn't charged enough. So as you're watching this silent thing of me and Paul speaking, just know he's telling you to go to gowithguide.com, look for tour guides in Seoul, and book Paul. Like I said, he's very, very affordable for what you get. You get an 8-hour day with him. There's a few different tours. You can do a half day, you can do like a 4-hour tour. He has different options, but I did the 8-hour day and it was very reasonably priced. And like I said, very much recommend Paul. And then back to my hotel for a brief moment, and then on my way to get my first real dinner in the city of Seoul. And of course, I have to have Korean food. I'm not going to take you to Burger King or anything, although that's like what some people do when they travel. But no, I went out to find Korean food.
Okay, so my first official dinner in Seoul. we are on our way to try Bibimbap. I am very not aware of like what Korean food is or anything like that. I've never even in the States had Korean food. I know, it's crazy. I don't know how I missed that.
So I did find a place that the internet said was pretty good for bibimbap. And to get there, I stumbled on this big market with lots of street vendors and lots of people crowding the place. So we would get back to that after dinner. I was really, really hungry. I wanted a proper sit-down dinner, but I did want to check that out after. So through the busy market to this restaurant that I found called Jeju Myeong Haejang. And right away, I noticed some differences in the restaurant culture that would be present throughout my experience in the entire country. One, almost every restaurant I went to had tablets on the table and you ordered your food on the tablet. So it's a little more impersonal than what I'm used to. Now that can be a good thing if you really don't speak Korean and the restaurant staff really doesn't speak English, because these tablets always have an English option to order your food. So that's the upside of it, is that it was nothing was ever lost in translation. I just switched the tablet to English and I ordered my food through the tablet in English. The downside, I guess, is if you speak Korean and or the restaurant staff speaks English and you don't speak Korean, it does sort of get rid of the bit of the personal experience that you get, because you're basically shown to your table, you order on the tablet, and then the food's just kind of brought to you and then they walk away and then you just pay at the end of the night. So there's not a lot of interaction with the restaurant staff. That might be great for some of you. Maybe some of you out there are like, good, I don't want to interact with anybody. So then this is great for you. But I thought I would flag it because it's very different. Another thing that's different about Korean restaurants, almost all of them either have a little box on the table or a little drawer on the underside of the table where you will find all of your utensils and napkins. And they don't tell you that. So if you don't know that now if you're going there. Just find the drawer or find the little box on the table, and that's where you get all your silverware and napkins. The other thing that I was aware was going to happen, but it just always took me by surprise every time, is how many little plates they put on your table, no matter what you order. And nothing's really explained to you. So you just kind of have to taste test, see how you feel about everything. But we started out with immediately some side dishes, which included kimchi. I was so bummed. I really can't eat kimchi. It's so spicy. There are some places that will do a non-spicy kimchi, and that's great. I love that, but most of the kimchi comes spicy standard, and it's just not good. And speaking of spicy, so was the bibimbap. And it was good, but the spice was overwhelming after a while. And this is why I say I didn't have the best food experience in Korea, because of the high likelihood that things would be spicy.
So bibimbap, very good, very spicy. I don't love spicy food, but we made it work. Actually, the red chili sauce is not that spicy, but there was something in the bibimbap that was spicy. And maybe it was just this restaurant, I don't know. But, oof, you see I'm burping. It was very good, despite the spice.
So then I just decided to walk around a little bit, and I came across what I would find to be ubiquitous in Seoul and in Busan, an underground market, which is basically in every single subway station. So like way before you get to the turnstiles to pay your fare, you can go through a whole shopping center. Now it was pretty late at night, so a lot of the places were closed, but I'll show you in the morning how, when they're open, how it's a full shopping mall in like every subway station. But I'll show you a little more of that when they're open in the morning. But for now, I guess I lied to you a little bit, because after walking around the underground shopping mall, I was like, I could still use a little bit of food before I go back to my hotel. So I did go back to that market in Myeongdong, and I got myself a fish cake, which is pretty standard fare for the street food, and even I had them in some restaurants later. It was really good. It's like kind of comes out of like a soupy broth, and they give you a little cup because it's kind of dripping broth, and it's on a skewer and you just eat it. It tastes like fish. It tastes like kind of like fried fish, except it's not exactly like crispy fried. It's sort of like rice cake texture, but it's fish. And at any rate, that topped me up for the food. That was not spicy. They actually had a spicy and a non-spicy option at the vendor stand, and he told me, this one's spicy, this one's not spicy. So God bless that I was able to do a non-spicy fish cake. And with that, time for good night and on to my second full day in Seoul.
Okay, so good morning, everybody. This is my second full day in Seoul, and we are headed to the other palace that was recommended to me, which is Changdokgung Palace. There's my hotel behind me, and I was reading also that the tickets to the garden, which is what to see there, might get sold out, so I have a habit of doing this, not reserving things in advance, but we're gonna find out. So let's get on the train.
So I promised I'd show you more of the underground shopping mall. So now it was daytime and everything was open. And look at this vast shopping center in the train station. And it's in every train station. It's literally I didn't come across a train station that didn't have a full underground shopping mall. It was so funny. But the good news was I was feeling a little tired, so I was able to snag myself a little coffee. So that was a nice thing. And then I headed on the subway, we're old hats at this point, over to Changdokgung Palace. And right away, my first impression was it looks just like Gyeongbokgung Palace. But I thought, give it a chance because there is supposed to be a beautiful garden tour that this particular palace is known for. So let's get in line and try and get a ticket to the garden.
Okay, so we did get a ticket for the palace and the secret garden, but it is not, the secret garden tour is not until 3:30. So we're gonna go to Insadong Culture Street, which is right near here. We're gonna go explore that a little bit, and then we will be back for the secret garden tour. See, sometimes it's good to just walk a little bit and not know quite where you're going, because we stumbled upon this. It's the Unhyeongung Royal Residence in Seoul. So this was the private residence of Unhyeongung, royal relative of the Joseon Dynasty, 1392 to 1910. Oh, that was when the dynasty was active. Okay, so it says free admission, so let's go in.
And the royal residence was very pretty, but very simple, and also sort of similar to the palace I had been to the other day. So I didn't spend too much time there, but it was pretty with some beautiful trees and plants, so it was worth it for me. A lot of these archways, the ceilings are so low. I hit my head on one of them in the Gyeongbokgung Palace. I didn't get that on video because I wasn't expecting to hit my head. But yeah, really, really low archways. And then from that little detour, we did make our way over to the Insadong Culture District. And the Insadong Culture District was really cool. They were selling lots of crafts, jewelry. It was less of a food market and more of a sort of tchotchke market. But anyway, I didn't really buy tchotchkes because what I was really interested in is that I had been told that the traditional Korean tea shops on that street were something absolutely not to miss. So I found one that had the YouTube logo on the outside, which I'm assuming meant as seen on YouTube. So I thought, okay, let's give this one a try. So if it was seen on YouTube before, it's gonna be seen on YouTube again. And I don't exactly know the name of this place, but the sign says Tea House since 2011, and it's got the green sign that says YouTube on it. You'll find it if you go up and down that street. At any rate, absolutely recommend. High recommendation. So they had lots of tea options on this menu, and I asked the lady at the counter which one was the best, and she recommended to me the jujube tea, and I also got a side of honey cakes. The honey cakes were okay, they were sort of your standard sweet treat at a tea house, but the jujube tea was so good. You have to get to one of these traditional tea houses. And I imagine if the jujube tea was that good, that all the other teas would be that good as well.
So really, really great tea. Excellent tea. highly recommend if you come to Insadong Street to try a traditional Korean tea house. That was really good. The one thing, and it's not bad for me, but some people might find this off-putting, is that it's like a loose tea, like it's all pulpy inside with like whatever they make the tea out of. I had the jujube. I don't really even know what that is, but whatever that is, there was like pulp of it inside the teacup. So that's fine for me. I like that, but just in case people have like an aversion to pulp or texture or something, just be aware of that. But if you're cool with that, then definitely check out traditional Korean tea house.
And just as I was thinking about lunch, there was this Support Israel parade coming up the street. Now, I'm not here to talk about the conflict and get all political or anything, but I did want to note it because it occurred to me in that moment that there is obviously a certain amount of freedom of assembly and demonstration in South Korea, which just hit me differently because obviously their neighbors to the north don't have any kind of free assembly or demonstration or anything. So I thought, wow, what an interesting thing to be able to protest and demonstrate for your cause, whereas everyone above the 38th parallel on the Korean peninsula is not so lucky. So the fact that there was some kind of a protest or demonstration just kind of hit me differently in Korea. And so with a little bit more time to kill before my entry time to the secret garden, I went back to Myeongdong Street, which is a bit of a train ride and a walk from where I was, so make sure you have a lot of time to kill if you want to do this, but I did, so that's why I did this. I went back to the Myeongdong market where I had gotten the fish cake the prior day, and I found myself some beef barbecue skewers. I really wanted to try as much street food as possible because you always hear how good it is there. And this particular item did not disappoint whatsoever. Beef barbecue skewers, excellent. And so with lunch out of the way, it was time to head back to Changdokgung Palace where I would have my tour of the secret garden at 3:30 in the afternoon.
Okay, and welcome to Changdokgung Palace. As you can see behind me, it looks remarkably similar to Gyeongbokgung Palace, and that's probably because this is another palace from the Joseon Dynasty. So I imagine that a lot of the architecture is going to look pretty similar. But the upside of this one is that there is the secret garden, which is supposed to be a very beautiful garden that was used by the dynastic family, I guess, the royal family. So my tour for that is in about 45 minutes, and that's really why we're here doing another palace. But until then, for the next 40 or so minutes, I will walk around the main palace grounds. God, look at that fall foliage behind me. So gorgeous. For the next 40 or so minutes, I will walk around the regular palace, show you guys around, see if there's anything that's remarkably different from the last one that we went to, and then we will tour the garden. Yes, it's remarkably similar to the last one, remarkably, but oh well, it's pretty and we're having fun. I am walking, I don't know if you can see it, but I'm walking down the center stone path, which most people are walking on. But if I was to learn anything from Paul's guide on 2 days ago, Wednesday, that would have been the path that was only reserved for the king. And now everyone walks on it, so that's fun. We're walking on the King's Path. Well, I got off it for a second because there were people walking, but now I'm walking on the King's Path. King's Path, as it should be.
So yes, as I said, it was a remarkably similar palace, but the idea was to get the tour of the garden, so I wasn't too concerned. But here's some imagery from the main part of the palace. As you can see, it was pretty, I was interested, but it is quite similar to the other palace, and that was why I decided we were done with the palaces at that point. And then just like that, it was time for my secret garden entry. For the secret garden, regardless of whether you want to go around on your own or if you want a guided tour, you still need a ticket for your timed entry. It does not matter how you want to go into the secret garden, you need that ticket. But also once you have that ticket, you do have the choice to either wander around on your own or to go with a guided tour. There is no extra charge for a guided tour. The ticket will include that. So I did decide to go on a guided tour because my tour with Paul was so helpful for understanding the history and the culture that I thought I'd probably be missing out if I just wandered around and took in the sights. And I was right. We did get a lot of background on this garden, such as which royals were using it and what they were using it for, and what the significance of each little house meant. So I would recommend the guided tour because it's not even an extra charge. And oh my goodness, am I glad that I at least went to this palace as a secondary palace, because the secret garden really truly is beautiful. And it was called the secret garden because it was really, really restricted to royals and their guests, and nobody else, I don't know if nobody else even knew about it, but like that was like the sense I was getting. Like it was like secluded, like it was like not even in the consciousness of regular people. This was only for the royals. And we found another anti-aging gate, so 2 times the charm. Let's just make sure that the anti-aging gate is really, really working its magic on me. And just the absolutely beautiful ponds and structures and trees and nature and how it all cohesively came together. It really, really was beautiful. I think I was saying how like at Gyeongbokgung Palace, there was like the Queen's Garden and I thought it was ridiculously underwhelming. This particular garden area was just gorgeous. I'm really, really glad I went. Okay, and back to the modern world of Seoul. So the next thing that I absolutely had to do, it's a must if you're in South Korea, is I had to go to one of those coin karaoke places where you pay for a certain amount of time or a certain amount of songs and you get a private room to sing karaoke to your heart's content. And it's a staple in Seoul, and I love to sing anyway, so I had to do it. Forgive these clips, I have to be very careful with copyright. And just like that, it was time for dinner number 2, and you can't go to Korea without getting Korean barbecue. So it was time for Korean barbecue. However, one very, very important note. Most Korean barbecue places in Seoul, and I believe in other cities as well, will not serve parties of 1, and I was traveling by myself. So I had to scour around for a place that would serve just 1, and that is very, very hard to find. I did find it, and I'm going to mention it here because if you happen to be traveling alone, this is a place you can go, and it was very good. But just be aware that if you're traveling with your buddies, it's better off for Korean barbecue or your significant other or whoever. So this particular restaurant was called Suksung-do, and it was actually on the 2nd floor of my hotel. And like I said, I've never had Korean food before in my life. That includes Korean barbecue, and I was so, so grateful. This particular restaurant, the staff cooked on the barbecue in front of you rather than you having to cook on the barbecue. That was a good way to sort of ease me into the experience. It was very good. The one caveat for eating alone is that you had to pick 2 meats minimum, and that's way too much food for one person, but oh well. I tried as much as I could before I was full, and that was it, and I paid for it. It is what it is. So I picked my 2 meats, again on the iPad. That's, like I said, a recurring theme. And they brought out the raw meat and started cooking it on the barbecue for me, along with a ton of side dishes and a little kimchi soup. That's another thing they do. They'll bring out soup. They'll bring out a bunch of sides. It's all included. The only thing you pay for is the main dish. So the way they do it in Korea, you get a lot of sides and a lot of food for the price of just the single main dish. That's a very, very nice thing. And they were cooking the pieces of meat on the barbecue in front of me, and when they were done, they would put them to the side and encourage me to dip the meat into the different sides and to scoop some of the other sides onto the meat and just try different things. It was so good. I tried all the different sides. Some were spicy, some were not, so I stuck to the non-spicy, but they were all so good.
Okay, so Korean barbecue, absolutely delicious. How did I miss this? There's plenty of Korean places in New York. I'd never eaten any Korean food before this trip. I don't know how, I don't know what, but I guess the best first place to eat Korean food is in Korea. So yeah, Korean barbecue, big fan, big fan. And I will be eating a lot of it when I go home. How did I never have Korean barbecue? We have Koreatown. This is so silly. Anyway.
And with that, good night, and on to day 3.
Okay, good morning, everyone, on this chilly morning in Seoul. This is going to be day 3, although this is really kind of going to be day 2.5 because I am leaving around 4 o'clock on a train to Busan. I am reviewing the train travel in Korea, just like I did in Spain, but that is going to be a separate video, so look out for that coming on the channel very soon. So yeah, we are on our way to Chonggyecheon stream. I'm pronouncing that right. Chonggyecheon stream. It's supposedly this stream that runs all through the center of Seoul and is sort of peaceful and tranquil, and it's been recommended to me, so let's check it out. Let's see if it's like a little oasis like the way Central Park is in New York or something.
So I did find Chonggyecheon stream pretty quickly, and it really is in the middle of like tall buildings in the city, but it's sort of like in a little trench, so you have to go down the stairs and you end up by the stream. Now I was looking for a way to get onto the side that I thought was a little bit prettier and had like sort of a wider walking path, and well, you'll see what happens.
So I walked all around the other side looking for an entrance to the other side because it looks like a nicer path, and I couldn't find it, so I came back around kind of resigned to walk on this side. Oh, that's a pretty mural behind me. Very it says Sticky Monster Lab. Okay, that's fun. Anyway, I was trying to find an entrance to the other side, and I really couldn't anywhere in like the immediate walking distance, so I kind of resigned myself to walk on this side, which seems like less pleasant than the side over there. And then I found the little stone walkway that crosses the river, which looks like I could fall in, so let's hope I don't. That would be uncomfortable ride to Busan later. But yeah, let's go. Success, made it. That was not as terrifying as I thought it would be. I guess I found an entrance on this side. It was about a block past where I was looking. Patience, Mantar, patience.
And it really was peaceful and tranquil down there, despite the city being alive up top. It was just really nice to walk by the stream. Really loved it. There are like little murals in some parts of it. There's some bench seating and chairs and things for people to just hang out. And as I was walking along the stream, I heard like the sounds of what sounded like a performance art piece or something, so I had to go check that out. It was like this outdoor martial arts demonstration, but like in character with like these crazy costumes and everything. It was really cool. And at the end of the stream, there was this kind of like Pokemon looking little cartoon character, and those are everywhere in South Korea. They have like everything is like these little like cartoony little Pokemon looking characters. It's very interesting. And there was also some kind of art sculpture. Don't know what it was supposed to signify, but it was interesting. I thought I would note it. And just before I left for my train, it was time for one more meal in Seoul. I had to have lunch at this noodle place that was recommended highly to me, right in walking distance from my hotel, called Myeongdong Kyoja. And this was basically like a noodle soup place, like almost like ramen, but not quite. It's a little bit different. And that's another thing that I noticed about the restaurants in Korea. They were all pretty specialized to do one type of thing. And most of the restaurants had 3 or 4 things on the menu. The menus are not extensive in Korean restaurants. It's like, it's a noodle place, or it's a barbecue place, or it's a bibimbap place, or something, and then they have like 5 possible things to order on the menu. So at this particular place, it was a noodle place, and they had 4 different options. I went for what their sort of classic dish was, which was the chopped noodles, which were in a broth with beef and vegetables. And of course, I was given at least one side, so they gave me kimchi with the soup. It was the spiciest kimchi I had. Sometimes I tried to eat a little bit of the kimchi, but this one I like basically had the hiccups from it. It was so spicy. So that was a no-go, but we stuck to the noodle soup, which was pretty good. I did like the noodle soup. I liked that it had beef in it. I was like, thank God, a little bit of meat. It's not all vegetarian.
Okay, so the noodle soup, very, very good. A little spicy. I am realizing maybe this was just my ignorance before, but there's a lot of spice in Korean food. And the noodle soup, though, it was not particularly, it was a little tingle. Even I could handle it, and I'm a wuss. So, so no problem at all. It was very, very good. If you like that kind of thing, if you like Asian noodle soups, that was very good. Highly recommend that place.
And with that, I had a train to catch, so it was bye-bye Seoul, getting my luggage, getting on the subway, and going back to Seoul Station to take the KTX rail line down to Busan.
And that's going to do it from here in Seoul.
So overall, I had a good time, but I had an overwhelming time. And I think part of that is because my first day I had a guide, so I got like kind of lazily relaxed into, oh, someone else will show me around. And then when I was on my own, I was like, oh my God, what do I do? But yes, the restaurants having a very different culture was a big culture shock to me. Obviously, the language, I can't understand it verbal, nor can I even read it phonetically. They say that Google Maps works. I don't use Google Maps, I use Apple, but you know, Apple Maps works to an extent, but really the Koreans use Naver Maps. That's their app. And so I was trying to use that, which was very helpful with directions. But even on the English setting, because it's not the same alphabet, you can interpret how to spell things a few different ways using English letters. So that's a little bit difficult because sometimes I was trying to find something and Naver Maps wouldn't have any suggestions until I tried spelling it a few different ways, and then I would find it. And sometimes it's a little glitchy where you type it in English and it gives you search results, but the search results are all in Korean. So I don't know what to do with that. I don't know how to read that. So yeah, it's a little bit overwhelming. There's so many people, so especially if you're in like the street markets and everything, you're kind of like, whoa, and like there's so many people and so many stands and it's all coming at you and half the stuff is in Korean with no translation. So it's overwhelming. It's a very big, I would actually like to go to Seoul again someday because I'm sort of used to it now, and I would kind of know a few of the customs so that I would be more prepared for it, and I think I would be able to enjoy it more and have a less stressful time. That's how I really felt about Seoul. I was like, I like it here, but I'm stressed. I'm stressed out, particularly when I was by myself. I found myself sitting in my hotel room kind of nervous to even like go out and look for a restaurant because I would like get anxiety about, well, you know, is there going to be signage in English? Am I going to know what I'm looking for? And by the way, Korea is under no obligation to have any signage in English. It's Korea. It's not the United States. So like, this is my own anxiety about like, okay, they may not have things in English. They may not have people who speak any English. What I used was the Papago app, which was recommended to me. I will link that in the description below. Papago, it is a Korean app that does pretty seamless translations between Korean and English. So anybody who didn't speak English, I was able to pretty much communicate through that app. But still, it's daunting, right? If like people who don't speak English necessarily, it's daunting to be like, okay, I'm gonna try and communicate with them. And you know, like I said, this is their country, so they're not obligated to speak English. I'm obligated to make myself understood, but that's stressful, right? So, you know, there were just a lot of things, and I don't think I was quite ready for the culture shock of everything, because my previous travels had been in Europe, which is a lot less of a culture shock. Even if they don't speak my language, they typically use the same alphabet as I do, so I can type things in phonetically when I look for directions or anything like that, and I can usually find where I'm going. But yeah, that plus it's a major city with a lot of people who like can't be bothered to like talk to you when they're on their way to work or anything. It's overwhelming. So that's my overall sense of it. I think looking back on it, I'm smiling more and I'm having fonder memories of my time there, because I do think I really enjoyed a lot of Seoul. And I think I'm realizing that I enjoyed it now that I'm back in the US and I'm not as stressed out about everything being sort of foreign to me. But I would say if you go to Seoul, be better prepared than I was. Watch this video, that's already preparing you a little bit. I've told you little tidbits about how the culture is different, but don't just watch my video, watch other videos. Watch videos about how to spend money and credit cards and cash and how that all works. I mean, I'll tell you also, most places take credit cards, but the little like street food type things, sometimes they don't. So have some cash, but your credit card will go a long way, so you don't need to have an exorbitant amount of cash. I would say make sure you go to the palaces and the historical sites, but also make sure that you explore the modern areas. There's a lot of areas that I didn't get to. I was told to go to Gangnam, but I just couldn't get over there. Especially if you like bars and clubs and stuff. I don't. So that's not gonna ever be a part of my videos, is like bars and clubs. But like if you like that, you should find the trendy areas so that you can go and do that. Yeah, that's my biggest piece of advice, is be as prepared as you possibly can. And that's advice I would definitely take into the other cities that I went to, because you'll see in future videos that Seoul, a lot of people pretty much spoke English, at least enough to make ourselves understood to each other. But in other cities, the English is even less. So definitely, I would learn more Korean phrases than I learned when I went there. I would suggest that you learn. I basically learned how to say hello and thank you, and that wasn't quite enough. So learn the basics. You don't have to be fluent in Korean. There are apps, but learn the basics and learn, you know, maybe 10 to 20 basic phrases, right? And just make sure you do a good amount of research. This was my first time ever in Asia. I had never been to an Asian country before. So I was treating it like a trip to Europe, and there is more planning that goes into a trip to Asia, I would imagine, any country in Asia, than goes into a trip to Europe. So just be aware of that. But if you are better prepared than I was, I think you'll have a really good time. The people are so nice. They're not really big on small talk there, so you're not gonna just like shoot the shit with somebody really, and they're not going to really approach you, I found. But any interactions that you do have with people, they are very nice, they are very kind, and they will do their best to help you. So that was lovely. And yes, overall, I would recommend a trip to Seoul. If you do not like spicy food, be prepared to just know how to navigate that. You can find non-spicy food, but spicy is a big part of their palate. So just be better prepared than I was, because I was not prepared to figure out how to navigate and just eat the non-spicy. So I had a couple of spicy meals that I would have enjoyed more had I navigated that better. On the flip side, if you like spicy food, you're gonna have a great time. You'll eat all the spicy food, you'll enjoy it, your mouth will be on fire. I don't know why you like that, but you do. So if you like spicy food, enjoy, you'll have an amazing time. Korean barbecue, A+++. If you're more than one person, you can go to any Korean barbecue restaurant, they will serve you. If you're one person, you can go to Suksongdo, or you can see if there's another Korean barbecue restaurant that will serve just one. But definitely try Korean barbecue no matter what, it's worth it. And it's not spicy except for some of the side dishes. At least at Suksongdo, where I went, I did not find it to be spicy, the meat. And with that, I think that does it for my time in Seoul. Thank you all so very much for sticking with me. I hope you enjoyed it. My next video in Korea is going to be Busan, which is completely different from Seoul and also very similar in a lot of ways. So I'm excited to show you all that. So make sure you ring that bell so you don't miss it, and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of my new content. And in the meantime, if you haven't seen my Spain series, you should definitely check that out, starting with my Madrid video, or you can go ahead and skip right to my South of Spain video, which was the prettiest part of Spain by bar none. It was absolutely gorgeous. You should definitely check out that video if you want pretty vistas for 40 minutes. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous place. So go ahead and check those videos out while you're waiting for my next Korea videos, and specifically my next one, which is Busan. But until then, and until we meet again, everyone out there in YouTube land, have a wonderful afternoon, evening, night, morning, whatever time of day you're watching this. I love you all very, very much, and I will see you in Busan in the next one. Bye-bye.